Alright, welcome back to Big Brewster's 420 channel on products, paraphernalia, bud reviews, growing laws, and all things 420. Later episodes, we'll build a greenhouse later when it warms up, plant seeds, monitor it from growing all the way up to the weed. And then we'll give a review on the crop yield and smokability. If you like this channel, subscribe and give it a thumbs up. There is nothing to download and subscription is free. Disclosure: I have a medical marijuana card and PPL in my state. Smoking, growing, and possession is legal for me as long as I buy it at a dispensary, have it in its original bottle, have a receipt, don't use when driving, and keep in a locked case when not in use, and keep away from the little shitheads below 18. On a good note, I like to lock up my weed in case someone breaks in my house while I'm out doing errands. It'd probably be protected unless they take the whole box, and then that's going to be a whole nother story. So let's get into today's episode. Tonight's bud review is East Coast Sour Diesel. It is 25.6 THC with 0.01 CBD. It's a 50-50 hybrid. Pull out a bud here, take a look at it. Look at that. It's a pretty nice bud. Smokes real good. Really resonates the hell out of the pipe though. So, I've been smoking pot, marijuana for 46 years, about now. Maybe 47, somewhere around there. I didn't smoke too much pot today, so my memory's a little lax. Anyway, I'm in the neighborhood. Alright, what I did today was, I took apart my pipe like this. I like smoking out of this pipe. It's a nice pipe. However, the hole is really freaking small, so it gets gummed up with resin pretty quickly. So what I did was I took a Q-tip, I took one whole end off of it. Pull all the cotton off of one end, right? So you get this, okay? You take the other end, you got to take off just a little bit of the cotton, not too much. I'm going to show you a little trick about cleaning out this pipe, man. This thing is, it just works awesome when you do it this way. Now, the whole trick is, you got to start at the mouth side, because if you start at the other side and you pull it through, all that fucking resin is going to go right on the end of it, see? So what I do is I take the mouth end and I stick the end with no cotton in it, right? Get it down there at that level. And what you do is you just spin this down in there. You may have to pull it up a time or two and squeeze it a little bit just to make sure it goes in there fairly tight. I took my hemostat. I went like this. I grab the other end of it, and it pulls it right on through. See? Shit's sticky. Usually do it 2 or 3 times, and that'll clean that thing out clean as can be. Now I smoked a little bit today because I was doing a lot of stuff getting prepared for tomorrow, Valentine's Day. Plus, tomorrow we're only going to be 8 freaking degrees here in New Mexico. That's going to be our high. We're already down to like 12 or 13. It's about 11:30 at night. And we're supposed to be below 0 tomorrow night. So I was busy getting some things taken care of, such as putting up some more foam around the holes on the outside of the freaking RV. Got the water, got some water built up, got jugs of water made up, because when you live out here in the winter time, your pipes will freeze up and then you don't have any water for a day or two. Well, that sucks. So what you learn to do is you learn to take your shower right before the cold day starts, get cleaned up real good, because it might be a day or two before you can shower. It kind of sucks, but when you live in cold weather, it's the nature of the beast. So once you get, I'm pushing a little extra down in there, so when I push it through, it cleans it out really a lot better. You gotta push a little bit through, and then you peel a little bit of this off, like I said before. Right? Comes through again, see? Comes through again, all full of resin. Grab it, pull it through with your stats. See, pull it through. I don't want to do it too close to my computer because that shit gets on your computer. It sucks. I got it on my older laptop and it won't come off. I dropped some resin on it and it won't come off it. I don't use it anymore, so kind of took a crap. Won't come on anymore, but see, I don't know if I can spin it around enough that you can see through it, but man, that thing's clean as when you buy it brand new. So then next step to getting all your stuff ready to go is get something to dig that screen out of there. Get that out of there. Whew. Man, that stuff is really resonated in there. It's pretty good shit, I gotta tell you. Doesn't take you a whole lot to get a, you know, a nice little buzz going. And I don't get stoned anymore. That shit, I gave that up when I was a teenager. Getting high, I do it more for, you know, my anxiety and my PTSD and shit like that. You know, it works great for all that. See? Clean all that out with a Q-tip inside there, and you're going to have some burnt stuff on the inside of your pipe. That's okay. And you put your pipe back together. And it's going to spin that up tight. See how clear that is now? Man. Alright, we're almost there, people. And you take your screen. And because these pipes have a thin side, you gotta kind of take the screen and do this number with it. And kind of almost square it up. Almost. Because you try to put it in while it's all flat, you're not going to get it in there even, people. I tried it and tried it and tried it and tried it and tried it. So, if you do that, it fits right down in there, see? Nice and even. Well, fairly even. Even enough. Anyway. So, you take your neat little grinder here. Take your bud. I grind that up. I grind up about a bud that big. It's about 2.5, 3 bowls. Really shocked the shit out of me how much, you know, yield came out of that when you put it in the grinder. You grind him up. See? It all ground up. And I knock it down through the holes. Then when you open him up, you gotta be a little careful because sometimes it's off at one side like that was, see? See it in there? Yeah, it looks good, huh? Alright. Now we're gonna pack this bowl up here. Tomorrow, my wife and I are gonna do a video having seafood on Valentine's Day. Probably, we'll get it done maybe 3 to 5 o'clock, somewhere around there, mountain time, depending on how long it takes and how freaking cold it is tomorrow. I got everything all locked up. I don't plan on leaving the house till Tuesday. Pretty good to go to Tuesday. They say the Arctic air is going to be colder than it's been in, like, I don't know, 15 or 17 freaking years or something. Anyway, when you knock on it like that, the little stuff falls down in the hole. Get your pipe all cleaned out. Yeah. Nice and clean. Smokes like a new one when you do that. You don't need any alcohol or any of that shit that takes resin off or anything like that, because all that does is fuck up the pipe and it makes it taste like shit and you gotta throw it away anyway. So if you got a pipe with a skinny hole, that Q-tip works genius. I mean, 2 times, maybe 3 times tops, but I do it twice. Goes through twice and I'm done. I'm good to go. It looks brand new in there. Alright, well, we're going to move along now to tonight's laws and news. In Pennsylvania, Tom Wolf tweeted his budget plan for this year: adult use marijuana, legalize it. Good idea. South Dakota lawmakers filed legislation to regulate recreational marijuana. New York, Schumer met with cannabis advocates to begin forming a federal legalization plan for 2021. Virginia, the Senate and House both passed their respective bills on marijuana. And Hawaii, lawmakers are considering bills to legalize marijuana. They're a little behind the curve. Iowa, senator plans to legalize and decriminalize marijuana. Wisconsin, Glenn Grothman acknowledged in a House floor speech that state marijuana legalization in the U.S. reduces demand for illegally smuggled cannabis from other countries. In Rhode Island, Senate Majority Leader spoke about employment issues related to marijuana. And in Kentucky, Representative filed a marijuana legislation bill. All right. In my home state of New Mexico, regulators are considering revoking the license of a medical marijuana producer over a fire that injured 2 employees. Sounds a little harsh, but, you know, they got their own deal. The laws are pretty good here. They don't really bust your balls too much, so I guess, you know, they got to do something once in a while to crack down on crap. In Science and Health, a review concluded that most identified studies suggested cannabis use is not associated with a significant cognitive impairment in bipolar disorders. Thank God for that. In culture, Ted Nugent said he rejected drugs offered to him by Jimi Hendrix, Keith Moon, John Belushi, and others. Former basketball player Isaiah Thomas invested $3 million into the cannabis company One World Pharma Incorporated. Willie Nelson spoke about the time that he outsmoked Snoop Dogg in Amsterdam. Yeah, probably only one of a couple of people in the world that can do that. In business, New Mexico dispensary sold $203 million worth of medical cannabis in 2020. Well, they legalized it this year, and that number will jump. Illinois took in more than $205 million in recreational marijuana tax revenue in their first year. Wow, that's a pretty big number. All right, my plug of the week. One of my local dispensaries, Urban Wellness, is where I got this at on San Mateo in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The staff is always polite and helpful, and the products are good quality at a reasonable price. So, you get a chance and you're in New Mexico and you have your marijuana medical card, go visit those guys. They'll take care of you. All right, word of the day. Phantasmagoria. Part of the speech, it's a noun. At origin is French and Greek, early 19th century. The definition, a dream-like state in which images both real and or imagined blur together. In other words, you're nuts. So, alright, well, that's going to do it for today. I was going to add a few more things, but it's getting late and I got to get up and we got to do a lot of stuff tomorrow. Check out our video sometime tomorrow evening. We should have it up by 6, 7 o'clock Mountain Time. We're going to have seafood and steak and all that crap. You'll see it tomorrow. Anyway, that'll do it for today's episode. Until next time, stay safe. Don't trust our government. Smoke medical marijuana for your mental health. The mind you save could be your own. If you like our content, subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Nothing to download, and subscription is free. Thank you for viewing today's episode, and remember, marijuana is more than your friend, it's your bud. So without further ado, it's Howdy Doobie time. This is Big Rooster, over and out.